The challenge to you, my dear friend, is there any neutral archaeological artifact? I know you can't listen. This is a problem. This is a problem with most Muslims have. But if I'm really hoping that when I stop, you would actually speak and give me an answer. When is your next comedy show? When is your next comedy show? I can't join now. I'll join your next show, please. Are these ideas recorded in archaeology in the first 70 years? You, sir, are you a Muslim, sir?
I'm a Muslim.
You are a Muslim, but can you make sense, sir?
Yeah, I can make a sense.
Okay, please. Do you have any reference?
Okay, 1 minute before you started. When you finish, can I speak?
Well, that's the idea.
Can I try that?
But if I'm really hoping that when I stop, you would actually speak and give me an
But
answer.
don't preach long. Don't preach long.
No,
If you
Bef-
preach, I can't listen. You know all.
I know you can't listen. This is a problem. This is a problem with most Muslims have.
What do you mean problem?
Before AD,
You want to preach all day.
before AH 70,
You know, Christian, we know. When you ask some question,
please.
they answer something else.
Look, you've already demonstrated the problem, the very problem I said most Muslims have, which is that you cannot listen.
Can I speak first?
Until before 70 AH, the challenge to you, my dear friend, is there any neutral archaeological artifact which records this person called Prophet Muhammad? And also the idea of the office of a caliph, which is successor to Muhammad. Are these ideas recorded in archaeology in the first 70 years after Hijrah? Is the question. Please speak up and save, sir.
Yes, there is.
Yes, please go on.
Because the Quran, we have got the Quran.
No. Quran. You have been a bit late.
Ask me a question.
Excuse me, sir. You've been sleeping for too long. Quran. Yeah, go on, please.
We have got the Quran and saying it's a Rasulullah. And all lot of historians is also, I can remember his name, the guy. He was a Christian.
Yes, the historian that you can't remember.
And Medina, he was there at the Mecca.
Yes, all your imaginary friends were there. Was there an archaeological artifact or not?
Yes.
Archaeological artifact before 70 AH of the supposed Prophet Muhammad and the office of a caliph. Anything, any evidence?
Listen.
Could any Muslims help out here?
Have you got a Jesus with archaeology?
Have I got what?
Jesus.
Well, now you're running away, aren't you?
No, because
You are running away, aren't you?
asking a stupid question. You lying.
Is there any Muslim who could help out your brother here? He is in desperate need.
Actually, you don't last.
Before AH 70. Well, I don't like your answer because you didn't even understand the question.
1 minute. We have got a proof in the Quran. And the Quran said Muhammad is the last and he was.
Quran can say all sorts of fantasy ideas. I am not here to talk about that today, sir.
Listen.
I am not interested in your fantasies today, sir. I am interested in an answer to the specific question I am asking. Is there any archaeological artifact before AH 70 that mentions this person, supposed person called?
That's our archaeology. The Quran.
Well, you
That's
bet.
the Quran. That is our proof.
Do you see what the problem is?
Can I finish?
The problem is
My time.
the brainwashing has been going on for a long time that my friend here can't think about anything apart from
I said don't preach.
ignorantly
I said don't
reciting his Quran. I'm not preaching, I'm asking a question, sir. What is your name, sir? Please answer. But before that,
My name is
clearly,
Same name. Muhammad.
well, unfortunately, now, before that, please listen to the question and let us see if you have an answer. The question is, after Hijrah 70 years,
Yes.
before AH 70, is there an archaeological artifact that records this supposed person called Prophet Muhammad,
Yes.
and also records this office called successor to Muhammad, a caliph.
Can I answer?
Is there
Can I answer?
anything,
Can I
sir?
answer? Can I answer? You know, before Muhammad, there is a pagan over there. The Arab pagan is over there. Where did he get the name? His father Abdullah gave the name. He wasn't a Muslim.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't think you are able to listen.
You're asking me a question.
There is a problem clearly, sir.
What's wrong with you?
And my dear Muslim
What's wrong
friends,
with you?
this is the problem. I'm asking a particular question,
Brother.
not any random. Excuse me, my dear friend. I'm not looking for any random rambling here.
There is no Muslim.
I'm asking a particular question, and
There is stupid question.
if you are, there we go. Because you don't have an answer, you call the question stupid.
Same question.
Let's go to the, are you a Muslim, my dear friend?
Before Jesus.
Are you unsure?
Why
Are you a Muslim or
why
not?
are you running away?
Unsure?
Look at that. He's afraid, man. He's running away.
Is there any faithful Muslim here? Are you a Muslim, sir? You are a Muslim, sir. Please come over here.
I am a Muslim.
Okay, please speak from there, sir.
Why are you running?
I'm not running, I'm standing here.
You are debating me.
Debating you?
Yes.
Are you joking?
You are trying. What do you mean?
Are you
No, you
joking?
don't want it because
When did you stop taking your drugs, sir? I'm coming to you. There we go. Is this the person who is going to help you out? I'm really sorry, but you're in big trouble now. How about you, sir? Do you follow Muhammad, sir?
do you follow Jesus? Do you follow Jesus?
No? Yes, no? Well, if you have been following Muhammad today, I'm going to give you an advice. Please stop following. Because the entire idea of Islam and the entire idea of this person called Muhammad, who was a prophet and so on and on and on, are fabricated lies from later times, not during the time of supposed Muhammad. These were fabricated
Jesus is not his
in
name. What is your God's name?
in pure
What's
jealousy.
the name of your God? What's the name of your God?
As you can see here, the gentleman here is unable to answer a simple question. I'm going to read to you.
Are you his master? Are you his master? Are you his master?
All right, I'm going to read to you from a research article which came.
Can I answer my question?
Well, I don't think I can engage with you on a meaningful level,
You don't know
sir.
his name, the God of his name.
Welcome back, bro.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
When you both speak, I can't hear what's
No, no,
going
he
on.
finished it. He finished it. He don't want to give.
Have you got anything meaningful to say,
Okay,
sir?
can I speak?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 minutes. Say something meaningful, sir.
No, I want to speak. Same
Anything meaningful, anything useful
half an hour.
for your young Muslim brother there. Anything
Talking
useful?
about him. We are talking about him. Why are you?
Now, I'm asking you.
why are you
Have you got
Have
anything useful to say now, sir?
you got a mind?
There we go. I'm not sure you've got anything useful to say. All right,
And he's
my Muslim friends, I'm going to read to you a rock engraving from the year AH 58, after Hijrah, 58 years. And this is an engraving from Saudi Arabia, from near Al Taif. This is a building inscription, and this is what it says.
Read the Bible.
This dam,
Samuel 11:1-5. David.
I'm sure he is feeling guilty that he hasn't done his Bible reading for the day. My dear friend, when we get home, we'll be doing a lot more Bible reading. You can join with us. But right now, we are dealing with the lies of Islam. You might also say the lies that is Islam.
Jesus, he said.
And I'm reading to you.
Save the women. That's what the Jesus said.
I'm reading to you a building inscription.
Kill the innocent.
My dear friend, please follow this. AH 58, a building inscription. This is what it says. This dam belongs to the servant of God, Muawiya, the commander of the believers. Abdullah ibn Sakr built it with the permission of God in the year 58. Oh God, forgive the servant of God, Muawiya, the commander of the believers, and make him firm and succor him, and grant the believers enjoyment with it through him.
What are you talking about? Nobody understands what
Well,
you're
if you
talking
were to listen, you might understand. Amr ibn Hubab Kabab Janab wrote this. Do you see the problem here? But do you see the problem here? He has clearly demonstrated the very problem I have come here to bring out. And the problem is, I am reading to you what should have been a Muslim text. And even after reading, this faithful Muslim is asking, what did you just read? Because clearly, the text that I've just read is not Islamic.
Are you a Muslim?
The text that I've just read to you is not Islamic.
Is not created themselves. Are you his master? Are you his master? Why are you controlling him? No, he control you.
When is your next comedy show? When is your next comedy show? I can't join now. I'll join your next show, please. Later on, your next show, please. Not right now.
No, you started already.
But the friend here clearly demonstrated the problem I came to speak about here today. And the problem is this. I just read an inscription from who he would call a caliph.
Why Jesus said hate the woman?
From who he would call a caliph.
Jesus ordered
I read an entire inscription which is extant today, and if even after reading the entire inscription, it doesn't sound Islamic to him. You know why? Because the guy who wrote it, Muawiya, who he calls a caliph, wasn't a caliph. He was not a successor to Muhammad. It wasn't in his mind at all.
Can I ask you a question?
Says an archaeological artifact. And this is the kind of things we are finding time and time again. Archaeological artifacts from the supposed early Islamic age, from the supposed Islamic lands, written by very closely associated with Islamic people, clearly demonstrate that Islam did not exist at that time.
Did anyone know when
This
he
is
said
a
that?
problem
When
we
did
are
he say
facing.
that?
My
When did he
dear
say
friend, how do you feel if I told you
that? Take it easy.
no one in the first 70 years,
Where the Mary was buried? When did she?
how would you feel?
When did she bury Mary?
My dear friend,
The Jesus.
how would you feel? Excuse me, sir, are you a midwife, sir? Are you a midwife?
I'm your husband.
There we go. As you can see, clearly we are dealing with a different case here. I would like to have an intelligent conversation, not some silly jokes.
Are you gay?
You see what the problem is? Talk about material.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, I tried doing that before. Didn't hear anything useful.
Well, just listen.
Excuse me, sir. The gentleman wants to hear if you have anything useful to say. Have you got? Let's give him 2 minutes. Let's try and see if he has anything useful to say.
He called me. He said, "Are you a Muslim? Can you debate with me?" And he is afraid, man. He never give me a chance. That's why.
There you go. It's
He's a
all,
laughing man.
my dear friend, it's all on record. It's all on record. The number of times the question was asked to you is all on record.
Can he play your church? 1 minute, stop. To watch it.
This is a comedy show, sir. Unfortunately, he hasn't been selling his tickets properly at the venue he wanted to sell them in, and that's why he is here. My dear friend, we are dealing with very important things here. We are dealing with a seriously flawed religion called Islam, and that is where our focus is today. And my point to you is simply this.
I have got a Bible in here.
13
I have
archaeological artifacts,
a Bible.
epigraphics, writings, Arabic engravings, writings that we find in Saudi Arabia. And the problem is, for about 70 years after supposed Muhammad's hijrah, there is no reference to a person called Prophet Muhammad. Neither is there a reference to a caliph, a successor to Muhammad. In other words, Islam did not exist for about 70 years after the time of what is known as hijrah. Now, of course, this information could be assimilated and be used by only sensible people, people who have got still their brains intact, which hasn't been washed by your religion, what we call brain washing, and who are able to intelligently process information. Now, I tried asking the gentleman a question a few minutes ago, and for a while,
I answered your question. Can you
what
answer
was
my
the question, sir?
My question is.
What was my question,
No,
sir?
no, you're asking.
What was my question, sir?
You're asking me about the Muhammad before the Islam.
Before Islam, can you believe?
No, of course.
I asked about Muhammad before Islam. Before what?
No, before the Hijrah, you said, innit?
Before.
You said before the
I
Hijrah.
thought you were planning to listen, sir.
No, you, come on.
Muhammad,
It was recorded.
when did Hijrah happen,
I
sir?
recorded.
Excuse me, sir. Well, when did Hijrah happen?
No, don't twist it. Don't.
When did
make a
Hijrah
lot.
happen?
Can I speak?
All right.
Can I speak?
Now, the gentleman didn't understand. Let me clarify.
Can I speak?
A significant event in the life of who he calls a prophet, Muhammad, is
Can you
what is
show
called
me-
a
Can you
hijrah.
show me
Hijrah.
where is Jesus
Muslims would have heard this term.
Where is Jesus
Hijrah happened about 10 to 12 years before Muhammad passed away, according to Muslims.
When Jesus was passed away.
According to the
When-
fairy tales
when did he pass
that
away?
Muslims invented, Hijrah happened about 12 years before the death of Muhammad. My question is, for about 70 years after Hijrah, for about 70 years. Now, my dear friend, if Muhammad died about 12 years after Hijrah, but if I am talking about even the period going up to 70 years after Hijrah, is this not the time after the time of Muhammad?
Can you talk about the Bible? Forget about the history.
12 years, 70 years, Muhammad's death plus 58 years for about
You will die, man, one time.
58 years after the death of Muhammad.
He was prison.
No one in Arabia cared about this person called Muhammad, according to archaeological artifacts.
Talk about the truth.
Not significant at all. Yes, sir.
You don't believe Muhammad is. You don't believe Muhammad.
The evidence.
Do you believe
all
Muhammad?
the archaeological findings. It's not even
What's
archaeological.
that?
Because if something is archaeological, you have to dig and find it. Right?
Yes, I'm here.
There are written scripts, right? According to Islamic.
Islamic calendar. Do you know what this means?
You know, after that, Abu Bakr comes, right? And then after that.
Please come here.
You know what happened, brother? You know what happened? He went to
There's
He
historical
and he ran away.
evidence. There are writings that these people came after Muhammad.
Which writings do you have in mind?
First of all, the historians' records.
Which ones?
I don't know namely, but what we say entirely, you're saying entirely refuses all the writings, right?
Exactly.
Which ones that you're referring?
My dear friend, what you need to
You say there's no, it doesn't exist.
what you need to appreciate, my dear friend,
History of Jesus.
the ideas of Muhammad today mostly come from documents which postdate Muhammad by about 200 plus years.
Because he didn't know how to read and write.
No, that's not the reason. There might be another reason, and that's precisely what I'm here to talk about. It seems like, as you might know, what is a seerah, sir? Do you know? Yeah. When was the first seerah written on Muhammad?
Which seerah you talking about? No, which seerah is he talking
640?
about? No,
No.
which seerah?
No. Extant.
Can you hear Arabic?
Extant.
No, which seerah? There is many seerahs.
Extant.
First one.
Extant.
Read. In
Extant.
the name of God, read. That is
No, I'm not talking about surah. I'm not talking about surah. I'm talking about seerah. The biographies on Muhammad. Biographies of Muhammad. Biographies of Muhammad are documents which came in well later, couple of 100 years after Muhammad. The point is, my focus right now is only on artifacts that comes from the first century, and in particular about 70 years after Hijrah. That's where my focus is at the moment.
This is when the Islamic learnings have been started to...
No Islamic. Which learning do you have in mind? In my knowledge, there is no learning whatsoever. Hadiths, the hadiths come very late. Seerahs come very late. Tafseers even later. There is no Islamic source of information.
Because theology happens after religion comes. Because
Seerah,
theology
my
what has happened and what is
tafsir is theology. Hadith is not theology.
But this has been recorded.
Seerah is not theology. I am mainly talking about Seerah and Hadith. I was just pointing out as a side point that tafsirs come even later if you have tafsirs in mind. So the point is, we don't have tafsirs, so we don't have seerahs, we don't have hadiths, we don't have those things at all. And that is precisely where I am trying to focus on.
Have you got?
Which seerah have
We
you
have
got?
got the seerah.
Which seerah?
All the seerahs.
Which one?
We have got a lot.
Which one?
We have got.
There we go. Which
We
one?
have got.
Which one?
Do you know what the seerah means?
There we go. Which one do you have in
You know
mind?
what the seerah means?
I know what seerah means. Which one?
What's the meaning seerah?
Which one do you have in mind?
No. Before
There
you
we go.
ask me-
I'm asking him a
before you
simple
ask
question.
me-
He wouldn't answer. Did he not say he has seerahs? Did he not? The gentleman here knows. He said we have seerahs. I'm asking you which seerahs.
What's the meaning
He
seerah?
can't answer. And there we go. Now you're going to sit and. How do you spell seerah? How do you write seerah? Does seerah? Can you believe this?
Can you speak Arabic?
No.
I don't have to speak Arabic, sir.
Someone speaks Arabic.
Doesn't matter, sir.
Of course it
Comes
matter.
in Arabic language.
Of course it matter Arabic. Seerah is Arabic.
Doesn't matter, sir.
Of course it
The
matter.
problem is simple here.
Can you
I am
speak Aramaic?
I can
Can you
read.
speak Aramaic? Can you speak Aramaic?
Well, I can't speak Ethiopian also.
Can you
Does
speak-
that
can you speak
matter?
Ethiopian? Can you speak
Does that
Ethiopian?
matter, sir?
Can you speak
Something
Ethiopian?
about Ethiopia.
I'm from Ethiopia.
If I claim something about
Yes.
Ethiopian,
Can you speak Ethiopian? He said, looking at his lying. He said, I'm speaking Ethiopian. Can you speak Ethiopian?
please read this, sir. Please come over here. Please read
He's
this.
lying, man.
Which language
He
is
can
this
speak
in?
Arabic. He can.
English. To read, and this is a research
He
article
chooses to speak Arabic.
on,
English.
can you please read the two lines here?
No, hold on.
The lines 2 and 3 there,
What language
please.
is it? What language?
No, he suggests you don't read because as Muslims, he doesn't want you to think. But please don't conform. Well, he doesn't want Muslims to think. Please read, sir. Lines 2 and 3.
I also read who wrote it, right? So
That's fine. So you've read this, yeah?
it gives me an idea what kind of prejudice the author has in this book.
Which prejudice? What do you have in mind?
Because it's
Please come here.
It's written by
Please come here.
No, I'm okay here. It's written by a Jew, which could have easily prejudices against.
What's your name, sir?
Matt.
Matt? Are you a Muslim, sir?
I don't call myself Muslim. I don't call myself religious.
Okay, you're not religious.
But I
okay.
know I'm Turkish.
But if I were to ask him what his name was.
Why are you running away? Look at that. I am a
Now,
Muslim.
my dear friend, it doesn't matter what religion a person is of. As long as there is enough evidence for us to believe, research has been done.
But we only bring you one research, which can be done by anyone, right? Any crazy person in the world can write such a thing. And say that this
When
is
last?
research.
No. Rock inscriptions in Saudi Arabia. How many other research articles have you come across?
I can find. I don't know. I haven't
That's
studied
fine.
this thing.
That's fine.
I haven't
My point to you simply today is this. If you have been a Muslim, if you have been inclined to follow Islam until today, what I'm going to tell you is simply that Islam as a religion only came later on fabricated for my
I don't believe in abortion. I hate abortion. And the nation
So-
is going to kill its own children.
So, to you, my friend, Islam was fabricated in later on in history